Okay, now let us start. 14th December 2015 newspaper. Let us discuss something about that. The first article is related to India-Japan nuclear agreement. Here, the Japan was the victim of the nuclear bomb, so the sensitivities against anything related to the nuclear technology are very high in Japan. So India is not a signatory of nuclear non-proliferation treaty. So the community was not in support of signing a civil nuclear deal with India. But if you observe carefully, United States of America and India civil nuclear agreement cannot be fully implemented without Japan in that. Because the companies such as Mitsubishi, Hitachi, these will supply necessary spares to the companies such as General Electric, which are American-based companies that are establishing this nuclear reactors in India. So the nuclear deal with Japan is not only crucial itself, is also crucial for Indo-US nuclear agreement. Now in this context, the major thing which is a bottleneck is related to the nullification. What does this nullification mean? If India conducts any nuclear tests, the civil nuclear agreement between India and Japan, it all of a sudden comes to a halt. That is what is called as nullification, which is a bottleneck in the negotiations. But during the present Shinzo Abe visit, the voluntary moratorium which India imposed on itself and separation of its civil and military nuclear establishments, and finally the reprocessing technologies which it want to employ, these all are seen as positive steps and addressing the safety concerns of the Japan. So, however, the Shinzo Abe, he has to press it in the Parliament of Japan strongly because their lobby against the nuclear energy is very strong in Japan. So in this context, there is a huge burden before the Shinzo Abe in the coming years in Japan. And the next article is about the baggage of Indira Gandhi to the Congress. The context of the article is this. In the National Herald case, Sonia Gandhi, she claimed her legacy as the daughter-in-law of Indira Gandhi. So in this context, let us see the 1977 Janata phase and what has led to the revival of Indira Gandhi. If you understand carefully, this is the most problematic phase for Indira Gandhi, and 1975 to 77 was also a problematic phase for India as a whole. It's a blot on democracy. Now, in this context, one famous incident people recollect is Belchi incident, where Dalits in a Belchi village in Bihar, when they were killed, then none of the establishment, either it is the ruling coalition or else the party establishments were able to reach to them. But Indira Gandhi took all the pains to reach over there, and she established herself as a credible leader for the Dalits. So again, the Janata government, it was dominated by OBC leadership. So because of this, the OBC Dalit violence and conflict has raised during this period. So the Indira was able to maintain herself or showcase herself as the champion of the Dalit cause. And the arrest of Indira Gandhi by the Chaudhary Charan Singh as the Home Minister and the Shah Commission and the proceedings of the Shah Commission, all these have led to the rise of the sympathy in favor of Indira Gandhi in Indian masses. So the Bilchi incident, it is mostly regarded as the important landmark event for the revival of the Indira Gandhi's political career. Now, if you see the Indira Gandhi's legacy for the Congress, you can immediately remember emergency over here. So the 1975 when emergency was imposed, so she has personalized all the power in the political party. So and again, all the civil liberties are curbed. Now, Congress don't want to take any blame for this emergency, or it did not take it, or else bring in an open discussion about this. So in this context, Congress has to accept this reality. It is responsible for this weakening of democracy over there. Now, Indira Gandhi not only increased her personal power, the entire power in the Congress party became concentrated around the family. If you can see Sanjay Gandhi and his atrocities during the emergency and his extra constitutional role during that phase, and after his death, growth of Rajiv Gandhi, and after the passing of Rajiv Gandhi, even non-Gandhian family prime ministers during that phase too, the entire politics revolved around the Nehru-Gandhi family. That all shows that the family was made central to the politics, and it also gave a wrong example to many other regional political parties in India. So, family centered politics and political parties, a strong foundation was laid by the Indira Gandhi era. And next is, previously during the Nehruvian era, the federalism was strongly existing. So, there are equally balancing strong leaders in states. Mr. Shukla in Madhya Pradesh, Mr. Pant in Uttar Pradesh, and Rajagopalachari, everyone, stalwarts were also there in the states who never compromised the interests of the states. Or did Nehru himself never allowed his ministers or someone to intervene with regard to the affairs of the state? But however, when Indira Gandhi has come up, the state leaders were reduced to secondary, and winning of the elections in the states became the responsibility of the central leadership. So the centralization of the leadership and minimizing the state leadership did not develop the secondary rung leadership in the Congress. That in future, that is during the Rajiv Gandhi era, and as of now, it has badly affected the state. And next is, as the OBC versus Dalit fight is going on, the OBCs, especially Jats and no, Jats are no more OBCs, but if you talk about Yadavas in Bihar, all these people, the Indira Gandhi has opposed to their rise. And these people are the land-owning class. And slowly they consolidate as a OBC bloc which has got its own significance. And Indira Gandhi failed to corner or take them into favor of the Congress, which kept 1/3 of the total vote bank away from the Congress. So if Indira Gandhi's legacies have to be claimed, and this also shows as the dark blots of the Congress power. And at the same time, the memory lane, if you take about the present generation, very few people have the first-hand experience of the Indira Gandhi's era. Because in the demographic phase, young population have raised, they do not enjoy a first-hand knowledge. That's why Congress history itself is its own baggage and its own problem. Now coming to the Venezuela elections, if you see the right wing is growing in Venezuela. During the Hugo Chavez era, he has used his income from petroleum resources to spend for the upliftment of the poor. And his redistributive policies have led to the bringing most of the Venezuelans out of poverty. Now, as the petrol prices have come down, so the resources with the Venezuelan state also have come down. It has severely affected the welfare. So Mr. Chavez, before his death, he wanted to bring in the diversification of economy. In its early stages, he passed away. His successor, Nicolas Maduro, he did not take it forward. And the situations were also not very favorable for him to take that forward. So that can be seen as a resentment with the people towards the existing socialist party, and it finally gave way for the center-right party in the Venezuela. And next is Haryana Panchayat poll. If you take this, there is article, no, already I have discussed what it law consists of. So clearly educational qualifications are specified, a functional loyalty is necessary, and there shall not be any arrears to the electricity board or to the cooperative societies. These are the conditionalities imposed by Haryana Panchayat law under its section 175. Now there are some fundamental questions which are posed. Under article 243F, now the conditionalities which have to be imposed to be a candidate in Panchayat elections shall be same as the state legislature. Now there are no educational qualifications to be an MLA, but you have the education qualifications to be a Panchayat member or a president. So it shows that an absurd or else there is no proper reason for that why MLA do not need educational qualification but a Panchayati member. And Article 243 1B says that any provisions of a Panchayat law shall be in line with the Constitution. The Constitution did not provide for any specific limitations on a candidate's ability to contest the elections, other than he is specifically prohibited by a parliament law. But this state law or the Constitution did not give any law to the authority to the state legislature. And UN Convention, which India is a signatory, it do not allow or recommend for any restrictions to be imposed on the candidature of the people to participate in the elections. So from this, it is violative of the many of the provisions of our own constitution, and the logic behind that do not apply. So this is what is the article tries to argue. And disaster response. So in India, the disaster preparedness is dominated by the presence of the military. Between life and death, military is the only thing that is standing before. So one of the reasons why the disaster mitigation did not develop in India is due to the tolerance of the Indian society. So we least expect, even during the emergency time, a support from the state. Do you know, it is at least 72 hours is the minimum time the state is taking up to fix its responsibilities or to take up the disaster work. Or it means the first 24 hours are very critical in a disaster phase, but the reaction time is more than 72 hours for the civilian administration. And the major challenge is the coordination between the military authorities and the civilian administration. So because civilian administration has the first-hand knowledge of the areas, etc., they have to direct the military authorities, which they are not taking up properly. Now, if you see development of the Disaster Management Authority, so NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority, it is not visible very strongly even during the Chennai floods. So it means, though the National Disaster Management Act was created, it was not being properly implemented. From super cyclone Orissa to Bhuj earthquake to Indian Ocean tsunami, everywhere you can see huge loss of life. In this era of climate change, yes, we are going to face these disasters more and more. So developing a credible disaster management preparedness system and also mitigation plan and also fast rescue forces, these are critical for the safe cities now. And finally, India, Pakistan are on the right track. Already I have discussed these articles previously. There is no more important thing over here. So one more thing which I have to discuss in detail, it is about Paris climate change talks, which I will complete in the a separate video where I will derive the entire lineage of the climate change talks, whatever has happened till date. So this is about today's class. Thank you very much.